Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates. So let's first start on the 4 hour. Here we seem to be in a 1-2 setup, and we already got a reaction to my 50% support level that I gave to the members yesterday, meaning right now we could be heading for a third wave. The target for the third wave is at 59 cents, but if we actually want to start this, we actually have to bounce off the moving average on the 4-hour RSI right now, because if we do not, this could easily turn into a much bigger ABC structure, and in my opinion, if it does, this is probably gonna invalidate the entire 1-2 setup, and we're probably gonna go to my other support zone right here, which is between, let's say, 47.6 cents and 47.3 cents to complete the much bigger C wave right there. This is still my main scenario because for the time being, if you look at the Bitcoin chart real quick on the 4-hour chart, here you could say that maybe this C wave to the downside of this ABC structure is gonna go a bit lower, because the target for the C wave is usually the 1618 of the A wave or the 1618 of the first wave, and right now in this move to the downside, Bitcoin only got to around, let's say, $98,900, and the target for the C wave is at $98,000. So maybe we could go lower, but you have to understand this C wave to the downside could also be some kind of flat C wave. And if it is, we're probably not going to go any lower, but you have to understand right here on the 4-hour chart, the Bitcoin chart is trying to complete a 1-2 setup, and we are already at the 0.786 support level, which is not a good sign. I think we're going to see this video in about 3 hours, so by the time you see this video, Bitcoin could already be below the 0.786, and if it is, I think that's going to be a sign that it's going to go a bit lower. But you have to understand, even if it does go lower right now, we cannot really afford to go much lower, because today is Friday, and let's say we get to like $98,000 today or maybe tomorrow. By the time we get to Sunday, we should definitely be above $100,000, because if we are not, then on the much bigger time frame, on the weekly, we are not going to be able to close above the trend line right there, which could be a very bad sign. So we kind of need to close, let's say, between $102,000 and $100,000, because otherwise we're going to close below the trend line. However, I do have to say that closing below the trend line for a week is not going to be the end of the world, because that's pretty much exactly what we did over there as well. As you can see, the RSI went to about, let's say, 43, and then we bounced. But you have to understand, even if we close below the trend line, next week has to be very, very bullish, because if it's not, that could be very, very bad, and it could be a sign that maybe Bitcoin has already topped. But for the time being, I believe we're still on the, right path, and I think for the time being, we're still gonna get an altcoin season after Bitcoin finally breaks all-time highs and after Ethereum gets to all-time highs as well. Speaking of Ethereum, I want to remind you that on the daily chart, we got to the oversold territory for the first time since we were right there at about $1,400, and I think that's a very good sign. Not only that, but on the ADA chart, we also got oversold, which has only happened about 3 times this year, and I think that's also very good. Going to the weekly Cardano chart, we're about to test the trend line on the RSI. As you can see, the RSI right now is at about 38.7 and the trend line is at about 35. I think this is pretty much showing us that we're probably gonna get another low and maybe get between 47 cents or even like 50 cents, because this trend line, in my opinion, kind of needs to be tested. It was always tested before we actually got a huge move to the upside. For example, here last year, we first tested the trend line in this area, and only after that we got a move to the upside, and that's exactly what happened over there as well. As you can see here, in 2023, we had 2 touch points, and the first one was the bear market low, and the second one was this low over here, and then after that we got a pretty big move to the upside. By the way, just a reminder that the fear and greed index is an extreme fear, which could be a good buying opportunity. Of course, not financial advice, but as this website says over here, extreme fear can be a sign that investors are too worried, and that could be a good buying opportunity. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our daily Discord updates. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.